Yes, hello comrades. This is Ranga William, and this is our project lesson number 3. So I encourage you to continue subscribing to this YouTube channel, like, comment, and also share. So welcome back from watching project lesson number 1 and number 2. And earlier we had said for our project lesson number 3 we are going to start from the types of projects, and we said for our types of projects here we are going to discuss more about the problems, and we see from the problems which type of projects is NCDC recommending us to focus on to. So we are seeing that we have two types of projects, but two types of problems. But before we see the two types of problems, we need to first remind ourselves about what a problem is. So earlier in lesson number 1 and lesson number 2, we said that a problem is a statement or data situation that requires a solution, but you keep in mind that that solution is not immediately obvious. So from that we are saying that we have two types of problems. One, it is a routine problem, and secondly, it is the non-routine problem. So therefore, the problems we are focusing on to, we have the routine problems and the non-routine problems. And from these routine problems and the non-routine problems is where we get the types of projects. In other words, we have 4 types of projects, but the 2 are got from the routine problems and the 2 are got from the non-routine problems. But we keep in mind that NCDC in our lower secondary curriculum, it is recommending us to focus on only 2 types of projects, as we are going to see if we continue. So if we try to discuss these routine problems in details, if we focus to the word routine, if we try to look through the dictionary, we are seeing that routine means that a sequence of actions that are regularly followed. So if routine means that a sequence of actions that are regularly followed, means that from that I can get a definition of routine problems. If we try to get a definition of routine problems as a sequence of problems that repeatedly occur, those problems that continuously affect people, that are continuously faced by people, they are called routine problems. And as I've told you that from those routine problems you can get 2 types of projects. We shall see and which types of projects are those. Then the non-routine, if we focus on non-routine, seasonal. So we can say non-routine problems are sequence of problems that seasonally occur. So sequence of problems that seasonally what? Okay, so for our project lessons, let those 2 definitions be our definitions of the routine problems and the non-routine problems. So in conclusion, routine problems, so those problems are continuously faced by people. Non-routine, that's seasonally faced by what? By people in a community. So if we continue on what we are focusing on to, remember we are focusing on for this lesson is about the types of projects. As I've told you, we have 4 types of projects, but in our lower secondary curriculum we are only focusing on 2 types of projects. One, that is called the simple and routine projects, and we see the simple and routine projects, they are got from the routine problems. The second one is called the simple and non-routine projects, and those ones are got from the non-routine problems. Those are the 2 types of projects that we are going to be focusing on in our lower secondary curriculum. Why do we focus on only these 2 types of projects? Remember we said earlier that our projects must carry 2 to 6 weeks. Our projects must carry 2 to 6 weeks. So we find that these 2 types of projects that are solving the routine and non-routine problems, they are very easy. Why? They require limited resources. Secondly, they have direct process lines. So quote me very well, all the 4 types of projects have direct process lines. All the 4 types of projects have direct process lines, but you find that the other 2 that we haven't listed or we haven't known, for them they require more resources. But these 2, the simple and routine, simple and non-routine, for them require limited resources. That's why you focus on only these two types of projects. So if we continue, so if we see simple and routine projects in details, we have said these ones are simple and have direct process lines, and also require limited resources. For example, in geography, the activities in the community and how they affect the local climate. I'm using the word process lines. What do you mean by process lines? In other words, I can give an example. When you are trying to come up with a product, you are going to be using resources, you are going to be using equipments, but you find that those equipments, when you are planning the way you're going to be using them, they are connected, in other they are linked to each other for you to come up with a product. And you find that absence of one equipment, you cannot come up with a product. Or if one equipment is missing or one resource is missing, the product won't work effectively. That is the meaning of process lines. So that's why I told you that all projects, the 4 types, have direct process lines. For the product, for you to come up with a product, all resources must be available and linked. For the product to work, to solve the problem, all resources must be available, working, and also linked. That is the meaning of direct process lines. But you keep in mind that these 2 types of projects are focusing on to require limited resources, these 2. But the other 2 that we are not focusing on to, for them they don't require limited resources, they require a lot of resources. So if we continue, these ones involve simple investigation, recording, and reporting. In other words, for you to come up with a product or a project that is going to solve a given problem, the simple and routine problem, you find that you need to make little analysis. You need to analyze not deeply for you to come up with a project. So if I give an example, or if I conclude like this by saying that these simple and routine projects, for them you find that they will take a maximum of 3 to 4 weeks. Even 4 weeks, maybe when you have gone, that is very far. Maximum they will take 3 weeks. Maximum they will take 3 weeks. Keeping in mind, we said our project work must take between 2 to 6 weeks. So if we continue, we have what we call the simple and non-routine projects. These ones solve the non-routine problems. This one solve the non-routine problems. Remember, we said non-routine problems are sequence of problems that seasonally occur. So seasonally occur. So we see that these ones depict creativity and innovations, and also have direct process lines. But you keep in mind that here a learner has to take an extraordinary step in analyzing the nature of the project, or in analyzing the nature of the problem. And also we keep in mind also require limited resources. For example, I've given an example here. You are investigating other uses of cassava than the known ones. For example, if we see this picture here, we are seeing that cassava, we can, if you leave the known use that it is only for to use it as food, but we have even these other things. Cassava chips, the yellow gully, cassava starch, the cassava flour. You find that the cassava chips and the yellow gully, they are more used more in Nigeria. So a learner analyzing all such uses of cassava, it means, and he comes up with a project, a given project that solves a non-routine problem. It means that this learner has taken an extraordinary step. So this one is another in these projects. Innovations and creativity are being achieved. So if we continue, the other types of projects, remember I told you there are 4, and so far we have just seen 2. We have 1, the complex and routine projects, and also we have the complex and non-routine projects. So in conclusion, from the routine problems we get two types of projects: the simple and routine projects, and also the complex and routine projects. And also from the non-routine problems we get two types of projects: the simple and non-routine projects, and the complex and non-routine projects. But we keep it in mind, in our lower secondary curriculum we are focusing on two types of what projects: the simple and routine, simple and non-routine. And why have I told you that? I gave you two reasons. They have direct process lines and also require limited resources, and also even the time period. Remember, our projects are restricted to 2 to 6 weeks. But you find that if you focus on the complex and routine, complex and non-routine, these ones even they can take like 7 months. They can take like even years, and also require a lot of what resources. But although even them have direct process lines. So therefore NCBC is not recommending us to focus on these two types of projects in our lower secondary curriculum. So in conclusion, our projects here that we are dealing with, they are helping us to develop that skill called problem solving, the 21st century skill called problem solving. Remember, this world we are in, a lot of problems are there. So therefore, if you have this skill of solving problems, you won't fear problems. You'll find that this world is easy for you, because everywhere, in every corner, problems are there. So what is problem solving? Is a systematic process that uses one's knowledge. You use your own knowledge. The person who is solving that problem, you have to use your own knowledge, your experience, the thinking skills, and various strategies for you to come up with a decision to solve that problem. So that is the meaning of problem solving. So this is the main reason, or the major reason why projects were integrated into the new lower secondary curriculum, and we are keeping in mind they are carrying 10% as introduced in lesson number 1. So developing a project, so let this be our lesson number 4. We shall start from there, our lesson number 4. So if I try to explain direct process lines in details, remember we have said if we try to focus on to this picture, we said direct process lines, if one is missing, if a given equipment to produce that project is missing, you find that the product won't work effectively, or even you won't come up with a product. So in case the handle is missing, in case the open stock close button is missing, you find that this umbrella won't work very well. This project of the umbrella, our product, this one won't work very well to solve the problem. You know, the use of umbrellas, that is the problem. When let's say during rainy season, I'm having my umbrella, I'm capable of reaching where you want, or to the place of work. If I'm having my umbrella, when it is raining, I reach safely. But you find that if the open and close button is not on the umbrella, you find that you won't open the umbrella to use it, or even you won't close it. So presence of all the equipments, and when they are linked to each other for the product to work, to solve a given problem, that is what we mean by direct process lines. So allow me to end here my lesson number 3, and we shall start from here, lesson number 4. But I encourage you to continue subscribing to this YouTube channel, share, like, to very many, as we see the way to simplify projects to our fingertips. Thank you.